So welcome back to Unlimited Recaps. Today, we'll be diving into a horror crime film from 2010 titled My Soul to Take. The film opens with a view of the American town of Riverton. In 1994, during the year 1994, there was a brutal serial killer who would mercilessly prey on people. The townsfolk called him Ripper. Up until today, he had killed several individuals. He used to stab people to death while donning a mask. However, he was still at large and unaccounted for. Everyone has seen his knife, and this news has already been broadcast. In that town lived a person by the name of Abel. Along with his wife and their 5-year-old Gabbert kid, he used to reside there. His spouse is about to give birth. Subsequently, Abel finds the knife that the serial killer Ripper used in his basement. Then it becomes clear to us that Abel is the only serial killer and not anybody else. The masked killer inside of him was pushing him to act accordingly. In real life, Abel was seen as an innocent gentleman. However, his other side as a Ripper was completely different. He never felt sorry for anyone because of his nasty personality. Using cunning, he managed to erase all evidence of his murder. He did not even know what he had done. He couldn't recall which action was carried out by the Ripper persona. It wiped out his memories. Given that he has a mental illness, he has suspicions about his brain. He is sorry about what he did. He can't sleep one night. He tells the psychiatrist over the phone that he has discovered the knife used by the Ripper in the basement of his home. But he says, "I don't understand. What's going on?" But it was all too late, so it was all in vain. His own wife was a victim of his cruelty. He killed his wife by slitting her throat with his dual identity of the Ripper. So when he tries to kill his own daughter, the police show up. Abel is hurt as a police officer fires his gun at him. So he has made it through. Despite his injuries, he completes his psychiatrist's treatment. Additionally, he gravely hurts a police officer. He is being admitted to the hospital following this occurrence. And unfortunately, an accident happens while traveling, and Ripper is lost in it. They look far and wide, but they can't find him. Though these strange episodes happened 16 years ago, they are still very much in people's memories. And folks used to recall that on the day of Ripper's death, they had gone to church. So it was a day of celebration for the town youth, as they were carrying out a ritual. So although some children believed Ripper had died in the accident, his spirit is still present in this community. And Satan permits this year-round traveling on a single day, so that he can exact retribution on those that led to his capture. The children in the tale had long accepted a folk tale concerning the Ripper's demise. They postulated that infants born on the night the Ripper was slain would have a unique skill to vanquish his spirit, should it ever reappear. So they thought that one of them would be selected to return the soul of the Ripper to the stream where it had first emerged. 7 infants were born that evening, and they all ended up serving as the story's primary protagonists. Adam, a shy and naive child known by his nickname Bug, and his companion Alex were among them. There was also Brendan, who was abrasive and bossy who frequently assumed command of the group, and Jerome, a blind youngster. The most tactical and well-organized of them, Leah served as the group's de facto commander, directing its activities. She was born on a different night than the others, which is interesting because it raised some questions about her position. And these kids believed that if they didn't face the Ripper's soul, he would return and wreak havoc on the community, so each year they would choose one of them to do so, which was Bug's year this time. Although Bug was a fearless youngster, his fear ultimately overcame him. He was immobilized by the sight of the puppet and the significance of the rite, and he was unable to bring himself to toss the Ripper's puppet into the stream. The other children ran away as the cops arrived, leaving Bug by himself, humiliated and angry with himself for failing to finish the rite as he stood still. Feeling confident that his failure would bring Ripper back, he felt he had let his paws down. The gang believed that if the ceremony was not carried out properly, the Ripper's soul would return and start impuritating people once more, which is why the stakes felt higher. An odd incident that had happened earlier, one of their pals had passed away at delivery, and his body had been inexplicably tossed into the stream fueled their belief. The children thought everything had something to do with the Ripper, but the police didn't find this out until much later. Some in the town began to question if the latest killings were actually the result of the Ripper's soul returning. As whispers began to circulate, some conjectured that the Ripper had never actually passed away, but had instead staged his demise in order to elude capture and survive on drugs found in a pilfered ambulance. Some others went so far as to say that he had been hiding by the stream for years, waiting for the ideal opportunity to attack once more. Brandon also gives Bug punishment for not finishing his routine. Because of his bad temperament, he used to act in the same way. That day, Brandon felt terrified after a devout girl warned him he would burn in hell for his past sins. He had a scandalous secret: he had seduced his principal's daughter, leading to the principal's pregnancy. This secret had to be kept quiet, as the principal might resort to violence if she found out. Brandon was disliked by his classmates Bug and Alex due to his rude behavior. They were assigned a class project about the California condor. Bug created an impressive costume for their presentation, aiming to impress the class. However, they ended up embarrassing Brandon, whom they loathed. In a moment of revenge, they used a light stick on him. Later, Bug saw the reflection of his friend who had been killed in a mirror. That same day, the police found the friend's lifeless body on the riverbank. Concerned, the principal called Bug's mother to discuss his mental state. She insisted that Bug was perfectly normal, but this wasn't true. A shocking secret emerged. Bug was the child born right after Abel Ripper killed his pregnant wife, revealing a dark connection to the past. It implies that Bug was a serial killer's child. Her foster mother was her aunt as well. Furthermore, it was such a tremendous secret that Bug is unaware of it. Leah, who was 5 years old at the time of the accident, is actually Ripper's daughter. It's clear that there's a chance this mental illness runs in families. That same night, there is another murder in that town. Nilap is brutally murdered, and the killer's identity is kept a secret. After that, we see Brittany and Brandon strolling in the forest. And that's where Brandon tries to woo Brittany, but she runs away. He follows her and discovers Nilap's lifeless body some distance away. A phone call comes in at that same moment. In actuality, Brendan, a group member who had always been the unkind and combative leader of the children, was the one who killed the victim. Following their investigation, the police issue Brendan an arrest warrant. He becomes terrified and attempts to run away as soon as he finds out about the warrant. But before he can flee, he meets a terrible end. He is murdered by the same murderer the village had been afraid of. Brittany, another member of their gang, is killed by the same enigmatic assailant not long after Brendan does. The village descends into terror as the victims start to pile up, and wild tales about the Ripper's impending return circulate. In the meantime, Bug can be seen stealthily excavating a hole in the jungle. When he's done, he buries something very well beneath the surface. His shoes and clothes are filthy and covered with dirt when he gets home. His mother asks him where he's been and what he's been doing after observing his appearance. She had been harboring suspicions for a while, and now she starts to worry that her son could have something to do with the latest incidents. Big dismisses her worries, saying he had just buried the bird costume he was wearing for one of their ceremonies. Still, there is a hint of uncertainty. The bodies of Brendan and Brittany are found by the police as tensions rise, adding to the town's panic. The word gets out quickly, and before long, everyone is talking about the Ripper's comeback. Bug's mother chooses to take her kids to the church in the hopes that it will offer some protection from the horrors that are enveloping the town because she is afraid for their safety. But there's no getting away from Bug's inner torture, not even in the church. Bug gets a terrifying vision while using the restroom. He sees his deceased friend's reflection staring back at him in the mirror. In addition, he finds a knife that has blood on it that was originally owned by the Jack the Ripper. After being startled and perplexed, Bug grabs the knife and exits the restroom, only to realize with horror that his mother has been brutally murdered. Bug is shocked and confused as he stands over her dead body with the bloody knife clenched in his fingers. At that moment, a policeman shows up on the scene. When the police sees Bug with the knife and his mother's body close by, he knows at once that Bug is the murderer. The policeman was aware of Bug's dual personality condition, which had been identified following a string of peculiar events in his past. The police goes to arrest Bug because he believes that he is the one who is killing people. However, before he can take action, the officer is viciously wounded by a man who arrives out of nowhere and is dressed as the Ripper. The masked man then turns to face Bug, launching himself at him with deadly intent. The Ripper is distracted by the sound of something upstairs just as Bug is about to defend himself. The Ripper seizes the opportunity, dropping his attack on Bug to dash upstairs. Fearful and perplexed, Bug follows the figure in an attempt to learn more. Instead, he discovers the lifeless body of Jerome, the group's blind companion, lying on the ground. His passing merely serves to heighten the mystery and pose more unsettling queries. As the mayhem is still engulfing them, Bug's pal Alex also shows up at that very moment. The terrifying thought that the Ripper might still be at large, and that the key to deciphering what's occurring might lie in Bug's broken mind looms in the background. Here, all secrets are exposed as innocent. Bug has not killed anyone. Like Bug, even his father was a kind man and not a bad one. In reality, the reason for all of these events was the introduction of a different soul into their body. Furthermore, the cruel soul that was injected caused Abel to become his pawn in these deeds. And 16 years later, it reappears in Alex, who murdered Bug's mother, his 4 friends, and his own father. And while Alex was away, every murder occurred at precisely the same moment. It was clear to Bug that all of his friends' souls had seeped into him when he saw them. Therefore, speaking with a distinct accent was a clue. His voice used to sound feminine. In the epilogue, Alex makes an attempt to stop Bug. However, Bug needs to murder his best friend Alex, who is now unconscious. And that dirty soul departs from his body, which was turning into the root of all homicides. So because of his harsh and violent behavior, Alex's life was disrupted. Thus, he killed him for this reason. Here the film also comes to an end. Please give the article a like and a comment if you liked it. Make sure to hit the channel subscribe button since I post a lot of movie recaps.